Hi, I'm Diana Rankin. Today we're going to walk the labyrinth together, the Winter Labyrinth, to celebrate Winter Solstice. And here's where we begin. This is a cathedral of pines. Not every labyrinth begins with a cathedral of pines. Mine does because this happens to be my backyard. And as we walk down the cathedral of pines, you'll notice winter's dew is still on the branches here because we're in the shade. And we walk down preparing ourselves for this winter walk of the labyrinth. This walk that is sacred. This walk that has been walked through millions and certainly thousands of years, and probably millions of years. The particular labyrinth I have opens on the east side. It is cut out of 7 circles, cut from the beautiful wildflowers that grow here. And so we stop as we enter and we say a prayer. We open our hearts. We ask to be changed by our walk. We ask to allow those old patterns to leave us and the new ones to come forward. And as we open our walk, we step into the labyrinth and begin. For part of the labyrinth walk, I want to be silent to allow you to walk with me and for your own processes to take place. Part of the time we'll be in sunshine, and part of the time we will walk in shade. The labyrinth is still partly shaded by the pine trees this time of the morning. But as we walk, let go of all of those old patterns that are holding you back from your greatness. Let go of anything that keeps you from knowing your life is perfect. Let go of anything unlike love, anything that comes out of fear. Letting go of old resentments, letting go of old betrayals, letting go of old patterns that keeps you from greater abundance of prosperity in your life. Just letting go of patterns that no longer work. There are different patterns for labyrinths. This happens to be a 7-spiral pattern, which is a Celtic and also a Hopi pattern. There's also the old pattern from Crete, which is a bit more complicated. You can see as we pass here the frost still on the plants that are in the shade, and then the frost has melted for those plants that are out of the shade. You can see how in the spring and the summer and even into the deep fall we have absolutely glorious color in this labyrinth. Baby's breath, wild daisies, wild mustard seed. Just a beautiful labyrinth to walk any time of the year. We've had a rather warm fall this year here in rural Ohio, so we haven't had any snow to speak of. I thought we would be walking in snow for winter solstice, but we're not. And at times you're going to see my shadow as well, just as we walk together. So the very first labyrinth I walked was when I studied with Jean Houston in mystery school in New York. It was well worth learning about it. One of the first ones we've discovered was in Crete. And Lauren Artris, who also studied with Jean, brought it over and painted it on the floor of a cathedral in San Francisco. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s, I believe. And since then, labyrinths have sprung up all over the country. One of my favorite stories is a group of us were in Bath, England, and we went down to walk a labyrinth that was downtown near the bridge. And as we approached the labyrinth, there was a bar, a pub for young people nearby. And the young people were all over the labyrinth. And so my friend said, well, maybe we shouldn't walk, we should leave it alone. And I said, no, come on, let's walk it anyway. And as we did, the young people began to stand back and allowed us to walk our labyrinth. And they even stood silently at the side, very reverently and respectfully. And that's what I find with labyrinth walks, that people know that something very sacred is taking place. So I'm going to be still now and allow you to concentrate on your process, allowing you to let go of all of those old patterns that are keeping you from your greatness. Just let them go as you spiral in on yourself. Letting go, spiraling in on yourself. As we enter the center of the labyrinth, our final circle is around the very center. And we again come back to the east. And at the east, I like to stop and say a prayer to each of the four directions. And so to my ancestors, to our ancestors and the spirits of the East, we open our hearts, we open our minds, we say thank you. Thank you for the greatness of this day. Thank you for new beginnings. Thank you for the sunrise on our life. Oh. And then we move around to the south. And in the south, we open our hearts even wider and we say to the ancestors and the spirits of the south, thank you for the fullness of the day. Thank you for the fullness of our life. Thank you for opening us up to greatness, to more fullness that we can help then those who still are asking to be opened. Thank you for taking us to fullness. And then we walk to the west. And in the west is where the bear sits. It is the winter. And in the west, we look up and we say thank you to the spirits and the ancestors of the west. Take us deeper into ourselves, deeper that we may feel and know the truth of who we are, that we may use that knowledge, that understanding to deepen our own lives and spread that love that we discover throughout the world. Oh. And then we move to the north. And in the north, we say to the ancestors and the spirits, Oh, give us wisdom. Lead us that we may then lead others. Lead us to peace. Give us the wisdom to know when to speak and when to be silent. Give us the knowledge of knowing wisdom, that we may lead our lives to greatness, and we may then help others lead to their greatness. Oh. And then we return back to where we began. It is again our inner circle. And we know that somehow we have been changed. It is here in this inner circle of the labyrinth that we meditate, that we have let go of the old patterns, and we are yet being reborn with the new patterns as we begin our walk, now in the opposite direction of which we walked in. And as we walk our labyrinth, we take on all that which will help us become more loving in our lives, will help our lives be more abundant with greater love, greater prosperity, greater compassion, greater understanding. Taking on those new patterns that will heal our relationships, that will heal our work lives and our personal lives, that will allow us to live the life we love. Winter solstice is a beautiful time to walk a labyrinth, because a labyrinth is about going inward. And with the winter, it allows us to go with bear into hibernation, not to stop our lives, but in the sense that it gives it, the days are shorter, the nights longer. It gives us that time to look inside of our own lives, inside of ourselves, inside, go inward. That is the beauty of winter solstice, allowing us to go inward to find our own wisdom, preparing us for the coming of the spring. I will be silent now and allow you to take on your new patterns, to process what that is like. It isn't about words, it's about experience. Just feel it. Let it come. Feel the joy of the greater you being accepted by yourself. Go now into yourself and allow those new patterns to emerge in you. It does not matter how fast or slow you walk the labyrinth. It does not matter even if you're wearing shoes or barefooted. I once walked a labyrinth with a friend, and we decided to walk barefooted, but the labyrinth was made out of birch bark, or birch chips, or the chips of wood chips, and it hurt our feet. And we kept getting lost because we were concentrating on how sore our feet were. Finally, I left the labyrinth and I put my shoes on and I said to myself, what is this all about? Well, I was at a time in my life when I was in a great deal of pain. And it dawned on me, I don't have to be in pain. So I put my shoes on, walked the labyrinth again, did not get lost. And when I reached the center, I let go of all of that pain. And I was so full of joy by the time I finished the walk with my shoes on. Labyrinths have the ability to change us at a very visceral level. They can actually change our at a cellular level, changing the patterns that we've weaved into our brains and allowing us to really create those new patterns for a greater life. Allow those patterns to emerge in you as you come to the end of our final circle in our 7-spiral circle of the labyrinth in my backyard. When I've held workshops here, as we walk the labyrinth, those of us who finish first go and stand outside of the outer circle and hold the energy for those still walking. Sometimes we pass each other. Some are coming in, some are going out. It is as life. We pass on the road. And as we come to the end, we turn and we bow to the labyrinth and we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for healing us. Thank you for changing our patterns. And we're going to walk back through the pine forest, the Cathedral of Pines. You'll notice that a lot of you may hear rain, and you'll notice that a lot of the frost that was on the branches is now gone, and it's coming down on me as though it were raining. So I'm getting a little wet here. But here we are at the end of our labyrinth. We say thank you, Pine Forest. Thank you, Labyrinth. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this walk. Thank you for the beauty, for the sunshine, for the gloriousness of this day. Thank you. And with gratitude and celebration for all that is, thank you. This is Diana Rankin. This is Diana Rankin saying goodbye. Thank you for walking the labyrinth with me for now. Aho.